Chapter 6, Part 3 of ICBC's Learn to Ride Smart Guide. See, think, do. Once you've assessed a risk and chosen a solution, you need to keep using your riding skills to perform the maneuver. The do step of see, think, do involves speed control, steering, space margins, communication. All of your riding maneuvers will combine these four skills, whether you are riding in a straight line, turning in an intersection, or steering to avoid a hazard. Speed control. You're heading along a straight stretch of highway. It looks safe, so you increase your speed to the speed limit. As you scan the sides of the road, you notice a sign, construction ahead. The sign tells you there could be a rough road surface or people working. But when you look ahead, the road looks clear. What should you do? Good speed control means maintaining a steady speed that is appropriate for riding conditions. Sidebar, crash fact. T-bone or side impact crashes are the most common crash types involving motorcycles, comprising an average of 31% of multi-vehicle motorcycle crashes. These usually occur when another vehicle turns in front of an oncoming motorcycle. Maintaining an appropriate speed. Speeding is risky, but the safest speed isn't always the slowest speed. If you ride a lot slower than the surrounding traffic, drivers behind you might get frustrated and try to pass you unsafely. Aim for a speed that is appropriate for the conditions you're riding in. The posted speed limit is the maximum for ideal conditions. Choose a slower speed if the conditions are not ideal. For example, if the roads are slippery or visibility is limited, or if a warning sign tells you that there may be danger ahead. Unless a sign tells you otherwise, speed limits are 50 kilometers per hour within cities and towns, 80 kilometers per hour outside cities and towns. Maintaining a steady speed. Sidebar, warning. It is illegal to coast downhill in neutral or with the clutch in. You need to be in gear to safely control your vehicle. To keep a steady speed, practice using your gears, brakes, and throttle. Using gears. Most motorcycles have 5 or 6 gears. A good rider will be able to choose the gear that's appropriate for the speed of travel and the road conditions. You will learn to change gears using your left foot on the gear shift lever and your left hand on the clutch. Start out in first gear and gradually shift up to the higher gears as you increase your speed. When you want to slow down or stop, you shift down to lower gears as you decrease speed. As you become more experienced, the sound of the engine will tell you when it's time to shift gears. Smart riding tip, sidebar. Cover your brakes when you see a hazard ahead and you're not sure what might happen. Cover your rear brake by placing your toe over the brake pedal. Cover your front brake by putting your fingers over the brake lever. If traffic is following you, flash your brake light by gently tapping on the rear brake. Lower gears give you more power. If you're going up a hill or planning to pass, you may select a lower gear than when you are cruising on a flat road. As a general rule, select a gear that allows the engine to operate in the power band, a range where you have optimum amount of power to accelerate if necessary. Your motorcycle owner's manual will have information on the best gear to use for each range of speeds. Using the brakes. Your motorcycle has 2 brakes. the front hand-operated brake and the rear foot-operated brake. The front brake is the most powerful. It provides about 70% of your stopping power. Always apply the brakes smoothly and increase pressure gradually. The best time to brake is when your bike is upright and moving in a straight line and you are looking ahead. Plan your braking so that you avoid braking in a curve. You do not need to brake in a curve. If you need to brake in a curve, brake cautiously and smoothly to avoid losing traction. Strategies: how to brake. Apply the brakes by gradually increasing pressure. This progressive braking will prevent your wheels from locking. Physics for riders. When you're on the road, you need to pay attention to the laws of physics. Inertia. This is the tendency for moving objects, in this case you and the motorcycle, to continue moving forward in a straight line. When you brake, inertia tries to keep your motorcycle moving. When you go around a curve, inertia tries to keep you going in a straight line. The faster you ride in a curve, the greater the force of inertia, and the more effort the rider will have to make to keep from going off the road. Traction. This is the grip your tires have on the road. Slippery or sandy road surfaces and worn or improperly inflated tires will reduce traction. If you do not have good riding skills, you can lose traction and fall. Abrupt accelerating, braking, or turning, or any combination of these, may exceed available traction. Sidebar: different road surfaces affect your traction, from high grip to low grip. So these include drive pavement, wet pavement, gravel, snow, and finally ice. Gravity. This is the force that pulls everything toward Earth. It is the reason that your motorcycle slows down when going up a hill and speeds up when coming down. When you're riding downhill, you need a longer distance to stop. Steering. Thinking like a rider. You're riding along a country road and can see the road ahead curving sharply to the right. It's a blind curve, so it's hard to assess just how sharply you will need to turn. Could there be traffic coming toward you when you go around the curve? Do you need to adjust your speed and steering to get a safe lean angle and maintain safe lane position? What should you do? If you have driven a car, you may think that steering is simple. Just turn the steering wheel the way you want to go. But to steer a motorcycle, you need to know how to lean into your turn and keep correctly balanced. You also need to understand the different types of motorcycle steering: low speed steering and counter steering. Low speed steering. At speeds of up to 10 kilometers per hour, the motorcycle is unsteady, wanders easily, and requires constant balancing and steering correction. To steer at low speeds, turn the handlebars to the left, then when you want to turn to the left. Turn the handlebars to the right when you want to turn to the right. Sidebar: counterbalancing. In slow turns, lean the motorcycle only if necessary, and remember to counterbalance. Keep the motorcycle balanced by keeping your body upright. Countersteering. For most normal riding, your speed will be higher than 10 kilometers per hour. You'll find that when you get over 10 kilometers per hour, the bike will feel much steadier. At these speeds, the motorcycle must lean to make a turn. This lean counteracts the inertia that pushes the bike in a straight line. You make the motorcycle lean by counter steering. It may seem to be the opposite of what you want to do. If you want to turn left, gently push on the left handlebar. This makes your bike lean to the left, and you will take will take you in a left turn. To return to an upside position, push on the right handlebar. Sidebar: at medium or high riding speeds, the rider and the motorcycle should both lean into the curve at the same angle. Countersteering in a nutshell: push right, go right. Push left, lean left, go left. Handling curves. When you go around a curve, there are two forces at work. Your motorcycle wants to continue in a straight line because of the force of inertia, and as your motorcycle leans into the turn, there is a side force on the tires. Faster you go, the harder you have to push on the handlebar to turn into the curve. And the harder you push, the more your motorcycle leans and the more traction you use up. When you have used up almost all of your available traction, several things could happen. If you find you need to lean just a little bit more to stay in the curve, you could run out of traction and ground clearance and skid and fall. If you brake abruptly, you could lose traction and skid. If you hit a wet or rough patch on the road, you could lose traction and fall. The lesson is slow down to a safe speed before you enter a curve. A safe speed lets you lean at a moderate angle. If you hit a patch of slippery road or need to tighten your curve, you will have the reserve traction and be able to lean a little bit more. And that's the end of Chapter 6, Part 3. Thanks for listening.